Good morning, Hit Nation, folks, cats, and everything in between and beyond. My name is Roy, the only host, as far as I'm concerned, in the history of the internet, who wholly and full-heartedly admits that he has no idea what he's talking about, but he tries. We had a funny moment in our page the other day because I put Heat is going to play the Raptors in this incredible Heat against Mavs game. The reason I posted that is because it's an obviously copy paste and we tried to adjust some of the details, but also because it's actually being ran by Raf and me, and we are both working full time and we work in a very different time zone. I am in the United States in Miami, Dade County, and he is in the Philippines, and he's definitely one of the most dedicated, knowledgeable, and stand-up Heat fans that I've known in my life. Same thing with Fourth. He always helps us there. He always comments there, but I know that he's going through a lot in terms of his school projects. Oh, I remember the days of my school projects. But anyway, today I record to you in the morning before the game against the Bucks. After a day, right? A whole full day and some passed after our overtime win against the Raptors. And of course, there are lots of things to say, there are lots of things to discuss, there are lots of things to talk about. But not that many, really. The most important things are the fact that we saw the first thing that I said when we went to overtime, and even before we won the game, but especially after we won the game, is that it's a great thing to have three players score. And I said at times 18 points or more, but I think it was 17 for Bam at the time that I said it. And then, of course, Wiggins playing the way that he did, and Tyler Hero. So the most important part of it is to see that, basically everything that we wanted in terms of these new three people to come in and to actually make sense for the rotation actually happened. Andrew Wiggins, right, played the most minutes, 42 minutes, had 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 25 points. Bam Adebayo came up big in overtime, even though he was in foul trouble, 37 minutes, 12 rebounds, 1 assist, and 19 points. Khalil Weir was the only one off the starters not in double digits. He had 21 minutes, only 6 boards. It's really low for him. 1 assist, 4 points. Tyler Hero had 40 minutes, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, and 28 points. And then we have Davion Mitchell with 34 minutes, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 16 points. Duncan Robinson with 23 minutes, 3 rebounds, no assists, 14 points. Terry Rozier, 16 minutes, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 5 points. We'll talk about it soon. Kyle Anderson, 11 minutes, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 points. And the interesting thing is that those 3 assists, those very, very successful 3 assists, happened between Kyle Anderson and Duncan Robinson. Now, one of the things, and of course, we had Alec Burks with only 6 minutes, 1 rebound, no assists, no rebound, no points. That's not an issue. What we didn't see Haywood Highsmith. Now, we also didn't see Jaime Jaquez, but I think Haywood Highsmith more. Look, we could talk about whatever Jaime Jaquez is going through right now, which my opinion is a sophomore wall. I do think there is more to get out of him. I do think that it depends on the kind of game that you're having. He will or will not be thrown out there. He's not been playing the best, especially when he comes off the bench playing limited minutes. I think he played better when he played full games, wanted to close up. But also how much better is very difficult to gauge right now. But Haywood Highsmith, who is a person who is a particularly, he's an expert on defense, which is something that could still get better because he's a very young player. He found that it was out of rotation. One thing that I agree with Raph, I do think that if they kind of knew what kind of package they were getting, that they should have tried to shop Haywood Highsmith out for perhaps some draft capital. Unfortunately, that's not what happened because, again, right, he's a player with value, in my opinion. Right, he's not called a locksmith for no reason. Same thing that we can see about David Mitchell and Andrew Wiggins. More so, of course, than Kyle Anderson, although the three of them played really well. And what I wanted to say is that Duncan Robinson in the preseason connected with pretty much every important player out there. His connection with Weir was amazing. His connection with Bam was amazing. His connection with Jovic was amazing. But then now all of a sudden we find this great connection, and that's great for the new team, right? The new players. David Mitchell already doing better, right? Already being the player most acclimated from the start. Andrew Wiggins finally finding his form, and in this case we have Kyle Anderson kind of trying to find himself. We know that his offensive bag is also limited, but we also know that he theoretically has a good vision of the board, of the floor. He definitely had a great vision to get Duncan free for 3 very easy layups, and very well executed as well layups by Duncan Robinson to help us, because every single point in overtime win helps us win the game. We only pulled a part of them really after a minute and a half in overtime. We started kind of pulling apart from them. And of course, what I observed that was amazing to observe, even for a player, for a person who doesn't know how to break plays like Jablanka does, like Brady Hawk does, just to mention two that I admire, I could still see that when we needed stops, as opposed to what was happening in all those 4 games that we lost and most of the games that we lost this season, and even games that we won, we were getting stops. It was choppy at the end. It's something happening. I don't know that necessarily has to do with the rotation, but it is something happening that we give up leads. I want to see how many of the times that we gave up leads with Rozier on the court, because that's one thing that I want to talk about as well. But we didn't really let the other team come back. We had great defensive performances, including one by Tyler Hero, in which even hurt, it went down and he chased the block. I don't know if it was with the same hand, but it's like I'm pretending to be hurt. I don't know, like, I think he was hurt, obviously. Something happened there. It doesn't seem like there was contact, so it seems like it was some sort of overextension of the hand. But regardless of the situation, he did a great job, both offensively and, yes, defensively. You can see those moments. But Andrew Wiggins, most importantly than everything, David Mitchell, all of those players actually contribute. And then we have Bam actually contributing to have a good defensive night in which we could see the opponents come into the court. We could see the shot clock winding down, and not somebody to be bailed out by a foul. A couple times by Jovic, a couple of other players, but mainly by Jovic. But other than that, not being bailed out by a foul, just losing the shot clock or shooting a terrible shot, including because of the merit of Jovic's defense. So he also had a good defensive game. What we saw against the Raptors, a team that was now 17-39 versus us, 26-28. Right now we are only 2 beneath 500. Is of course something that we can't gloat about that, but we can say that in a season that is a valley, that is not a peak, as my friend Dante likes to say, it's a valley season. We actually beating the Raptors, finishing. I think it's finished that series. I don't know if we have another game against the Raptors, but 3-1 was essential. 2-1, sorry, was essential for us to be able to kind of come back off this All-Star break and get a little bit of confidence. Tonight, early tonight at 6 p.m., we play against the Bucks. That's a completely different story. Now, as far as the injury reports against the Bucks, because we're going to jump right in. I don't want those videos to be too long. Giannis Antetokounmpo is probable with the calf. He's probably going to play. 99% is going to play. Gary Trent Jr. is probably with an knee issue. Taurean Prince is probable with an ankle. Damian Lillard probable with a hamstring. If I had to say anybody not playing, it's probably going to be Taurean Prince. Everybody else is going to play. Everybody's probable is going to play. And then, of course, we have Pat Connaughton that is out. And for the Miami Heat, let me see. We do have Tyler Hero probable because of the shoulder. He seemed to be touching more of this part of the arm. So I'm not so sure if that is connected or not. But both Kevin Love having a second baby out for personal reasons, and Tyler Hero is probable with the shoulder. Of course, Joe Smith out for the season. That's a different story altogether. In the last 5 games, the Bucks are 4-1, and we are 1-4. So it's literally two sides of the different coin. Now, can our defense, can the new players, but especially David Mitchell, regardless of how limited he could be, still contributed amazingly to the game, especially defensively? Andrew Wiggins finally contributing a lot. I saw in 5 Reasons Sports that actually gets to his spots. A lot of the things that I say, again, are going to match the things that I say. I echo their sentiments a lot. When I disagree, I make a point to mention it. So yes, Bucks are a very difficult team for us to beat. We are 0-2 against them this season. It wasn't even close. They bulldozed us in both of those opportunities. But both of those games happened during the saga, during the drama, during whatever was happening with Jimmy Butler, who is now happy, contributing. His team, I think, is 4-1. Exactly the opposite. We were 0-4. For some reason, I had a false memory that we were 1-3. But no, we were 0-4 in the past 4 games, something that I didn't mention last video. I don't say I know things, guys. I just say I like to talk about them, okay? And my future is probably writing novel books about things that are impossible. That's probably my future. So it's not going to be in sports. But I still love doing this. I still like the fact that this is going to be almost a full season. We have 28 games to go. Again, it's a game to lose tonight. I have to mention those games. Not a scheduled loss. I actually thought the Thunder was a scheduled loss, but we could have won that game. It's just embarrassing the fact that we did it. Really, it ended up being embarrassing the fact that we did it. But of course, once, again, their players start to connect and our players start to disconnect, that's what you see. You see that kind of fourth quarter dump that we had. And we had a few of those fourth quarters this season, just like we had a few of those third quarters this season, statistically speaking. So playing against the Bucks is not going to be easy. I want to see us play better and be more competitive. I expect us to... it's difficult to say that. So I'm not going to say I expect anything else anymore. What I'm going to say is this. It does seem like the rotation has been a little bit more solidified after the All-Star break. It does seem like, well, first of all, the defense was there against the Raptors. It wasn't there against teams of the likes of the Raptors, and we lost to the Raptors last game because of that lack of offensive skills, because they bulldozed, because they played so much better than us in the paint. This time around, we played better. We got it. They actually had a very interesting run and made things difficult for us. So if we had our lives made difficult by the Raptors, what can you expect them to do against the Bucks? And that's kind of where my mind goes. So it is a game to lose. It doesn't mean that we have to lose it. It would be amazing if we won this game. I think that after this one, we play Atlanta last of this 5-game stretch on the road, and then we start our home stretch, homestand against Atlanta as well. So it's 2 consecutive games against Atlanta. Both of those are winnable, but you know how it is, especially when you play back-to-back, and we already lost against Atlanta. So it's a very complicated thing to gauge. I'm not so sure what we can expect again for the remainder of the season, but I know this. It would be very important for us to win. It would be great if we could do that. If we pulled it off, the confidence would really get back to us, because again, right now we are already in the 8th seed, right? We already went, or the 7th seed. We went up a couple of, either one or a couple of spots, and we are 3, 4, 5 games away from the 5th place, right? 4 games away from the 6th place. Now, having 28 games to go, that's not such an easy thing, but it all depends on matchups that we're going to have, matchups that the other teams are going to have. But still, we have to keep winning. Now, again, I would say we have 18, 19 wins that we need out of those 28 in order to really be in a good position. But that doesn't mean that we're not playing in the play-in. That's the thing. The play-in in the Eastern Conference is going to be difficult to escape. And I say this only because I don't think that we're going to play badly enough not to have a shot at making the playoffs and not to have a shot at keeping certain levels of drafts that I think are going to be important for us. In any which case, that's it for me. I said everything that I had to say plus more. Stay safe, stay dry, stay as happy as possible. It's a very complicated world of ours. Let's go eat.